Experience is not measured by years, it is measured by constant exposure. Now, when I was younger, I had lots of problems, like a lot. But rather than trying to solve the problems, I entertained myself in order to forget them. Looking back now, if I had done something back then, I could have prevented a lifetime of misery. I don't want the same thing to happen to you. I couldn't understand, like, how could you sit there and binge watch Netflix when your life's in hell, or play video games, or listen to music? Your life's in hell, do something about it. The next thing I want to share is learn about finance. Like, for example, if you make $6,000 per month, live like you make 3,000 and invest and save the half of the money. Because when you believe that you have less than what you have, you're going to be very careful with your expenses, thus preventing unnecessary expense. Democracy is two wolves and a sheep deciding what to eat. When I was in ninth grade, I wrote a report criticizing the feminist movement for their misandric videos. But back then I had an addiction, and it prevented me from finishing the writing, and I got in big trouble with my teachers. So 1 year after that, I decided to redeem myself by starting a men's rights page. I was very young back then, so the videos were pretty silly. But then there was a male teacher. He called me a misogynist to my entire school and said bad things about me to everybody. So a year after that, I went back to the men's rights page, and this time, rather than using silly videos, I watched documentaries and historical examples and researched heavily. Like, I heavily researched on it. I would use every free time that I had in school to research about the page. And fast forward today, the page is growing very, very strong. And the male teacher who called me a misogynist to my entire school, I heard he resigned himself as a manager to be a normal teacher in another school. Wonder how it happened to him. I forgot to mention that throughout my research, I came across Murray Strauss' 30-year-old research. So during the 40s to the 70s, Murray Strauss spent 30 years researching on partner violence, and he discovered that the same amount of women attacked their husbands just like the same amount of men. But when he tried to publish his research, the feminists tried to basically shut him up, and then they would threaten his family and his colleague. So his colleague, her name was Suzanne Steinmetz, and Steinmetz's daughter's wedding was threatened to be bombed by the feminists. So that male teacher who called me a misogynist directly supported terrorism through his support of the feminist movement, and he had the audacity to call me a misogynist. So Strauss from the USA, right? And in the USA, you have something called the First Amendment, which basically protect your freedom of speech. So the feminists, by trying to destroy Murray Strauss' work, directly violated his freedom of speech. And there was another woman from the UK or from Canada, and she was researching on female pedophiles. And she was also a feminist, but when she mentioned the fact that women are capable of sexually abusing children, she was vilified and she was kicked out of the feminist movement. So the feminist movement directly encouraged child abuse and child rape. No, I really wished I would have known all about this back in 9th and 10th grade when I was writing the paper, or when I was first creating the men's rights page, because I could have prevented a lot of bad things. I could have prevented the bad things that were said about me. So from this story, you can learn to not be persuaded by the majority, because the majority, they're not always right. If you have something that you truly, truly believed that you're right and you're doing a good thing, keep fighting. Don't let someone drag you down.